Welcome to the show where we unearth new ways of looking at ever-evolving life around the world, seen from a number of different industries, cultures, and backgrounds. But there's one thing that unites everyone I speak to. They all want to do their part to make the world better in their own unique ways. It's a uniting passion. Whether they're from the commercial world, third sector, or public sector, from the global north or the global south, my name is Philippa White, and welcome to Thai Unearthed. Many of you listening today will be aware of the power of art and dance. But I wonder if you've stopped to think of that power and how it can impact children that come from incredibly difficult backgrounds. Hello and welcome to episode 46 of Thai Unearthed. Today I'm speaking with Betania Gonçalves da Silva, the co-founder and executive coordinator of Em Cena, Arte e Cidadania, on stage, art and citizenship, an NGO based in Recife, Brazil, founded in 1998 by a group of friends who were tired of complaining about the social problems in Brazil, so they decided to make a difference. They work with children and teens from one of the poorest areas of the city, houses without running water, and a community that faces the challenges of drugs, violence, and more. It's not an easy place to grow up, but this group strongly believed they could make a difference in the world through the arts, in all its forms of development, in dignity and in comedy, in persuasion and in exaggeration, in fantasy and reality. They've been working to transform the lives of these teens and children through art. But they were severely impacted by the pandemic. Unable to run in-person activities for the children meant that the relationship with the community and the local partners weakened significantly. And the future of these children's lives, in many cases, depends on Em Cena. Today, we talk about the important work they do, the challenges that the community faces, but also the impact that they have had on the lives of the people that get involved. We talk about the relationship with Thai and how we plan to support their important work with our next Thai project with Leo Burnett, London. So grab your favorite beverage or throw on those running shoes, and here is an inspiring chat with Betania. Hello, Betania, tudo bom? It's lovely to have you with us today. How are you?
I'm cool. I'm fine. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you with us. We have a long history together, and it's wonderful to be having this opportunity to bring you and the extraordinary work that Em Cena does to life. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you too, and we are really excited. We have some very nice experience before.
Betania is talking to us from Brazil as well. We're actually both in the same region, but talk to us, where are you sitting right now? Where are you?
I'm from Recife. I'm sitting in Recife, and I work for Em Cena in the afternoon, and I work for an English school in the morning. So I'm here in the English school, just finishing the morning shift.
Wonderful. And that's what's actually really great. So for our listeners, I'm saying Betania speaks Portuguese. She's Brazilian. And it's really wonderful because she also is fluent in English, which definitely helps when it comes to these types of projects and getting professionals who obviously are desperate to be able to get involved with your important work, but language is sometimes a barrier. Thankfully, you are an English teacher and a fluent English speaker, which certainly helps with that dynamic. Can you tell our listeners about you, the work you do, and just the story of how Em Cena started? Because it's beautiful.
Wow, I'm 49 years old and just loved dancing. Since I was born, I loved dancing. And I love our culture. I was a member of a dance group for some years. But I was raised like a kid. I had to be at home a lot. So when I was 17, that life just opened. And I had my open doors, and I could go to the streets and walk alone and see things. That's when I joined this dance group. And I danced with them for 3-4 years. And then I had to leave. And when I was 24, I joined a ballet class, classical ballet, and I met Larissa. She works for the Bolshoi Brazil. And we were both a little bit sad. So we had a problem with our relationship, our personal relationship. And we wanted to do something. We wanted to change our jobs, change life. And at the same time, we had a problem here with a team, teenagers and adolescents. When they committed some little crimes, they went to a place called Febem. And Febem had a big problem, and all the kids were in the streets. And I was studying at the city center at the moment. And I myself, I got really scared to go to the streets and saw all those kids and smelling glue and doing some little crimes, pickpocketing, and I was afraid. And then I talked to Larissa. It's our chance to do something. We're gonna do something for us. We're gonna work with art, and then we get all the children from the city and put them in the art school. It was a huge imagination and dream. Of course, it wasn't possible because there were so many kids, and things are not so easy to happen. We're looking for a place. We were writing a proposal, writing a project. What we wanted to do, we wanted to do millions of things with arts. We wanted to do dancing, we wanted to do theater and music and folklore and etc. And then we went to find a place where to do it. And then we found a place called Novo Criança. That's where we work. And the director said, well, I love everything you do, but in our place, we don't have classical ballet. How about studying with the classical ballet? I was a little bit frustrated, but I'm happy because we were going to start something, but we wanted to start with that big, huge dream. It wasn't possible. Then we started the classical ballet. It was a change in that community. The community we work is called Coelhos, rabbits in English. It was a turning point. On the first day, we had more than 6 kids enrolled.
How many? 60?
60.
Wow.
60. But we only had one room and one teacher, so we couldn't have all those kids. We had to select the kids. And when I saw the amount of kids that were there, we can't do only 20. We have to do more. And every time I went there, at that time, I was responsible for citizenship. We worked with the kids, telling them a bit about politics, that they had to be involved in things, that they had to think about how to change their own realities. And the other teacher was working with ballet. At the same time, we hired a piano teacher, because it was a classical ballet. And we had piano, we had the ballet lesson, and we had citizenship. Talking to them about all those problems. And as more I got involved with those kids and those problems, it's like, it can't be only 20. We have to do more. We have to get more kids here. We have to bring all of them together. And the thing that was shocking and I was trying to avoid them was getting involved with drug dealers and the traffic drugs. Unfortunately, it's still happening. It didn't stop. It didn't reduce. It's even worse after the pandemic. But the kids that started with us, most of them that we have contact, they didn't get involved in the drug dealing. They didn't get involved in that. Most of them, they have jobs, they have families, and it's very, very rewarding for us. And the second thing that struck me the most was that the young girls, they used to have kids when they were aged 12, 13 at that time, 20 years ago. And our kids, that they went to ballet lessons, they started having kids when they were 19 and 20.
Wow.
That was a big, big, big change.
Big change. Wow. Perhaps you can tell us about the challenges that you face in your part of the world so that our listeners can understand what the reality is on the ground. You talked about pregnancy, you talked about drugs, but I think it would just be really helpful. You talked about Coelhos, which is this community / favela for people who are listening. It's one of the poorest areas in this city. Recife is a city of 4 million people, and it is very poor. Maybe you can bring to life just the reality of these children. Where do they come from?
Yeah, Recife is about 3 million people, and most of the people are underprivileged. And Coelhos is in the city center, downtown. It's something very weird to see because around Coelhos we have shopping centers, no, hospitals.
Actually. Oh, and hospitals. Yeah, hospitals.
Yes. Yeah. And it's very close to many companies and shops and shopping centers, but it's all those little houses that were built in the 70s in a big project from the World Bank. The World Bank financed those little houses, and they are really, really small houses, one close to the other, one next to the other, and it was meant to be a certain number of houses. But as these communities in the city center, and it's close to the hospitals, private hospitals and public hospitals, many people come from the countryside, and this story is since the beginning of Quakers to be treated here, because it's one of the biggest hospitals, very, very old. Many people come from the countryside, and most people stay there because they didn't have money to go back to their cities in the countryside. So they start building little houses in little places in the area, and it has grown and grown, and it doesn't stop growing. That's the same thing that happens. People come from the countryside to be treated in the hostels that they are nearby, and they keep staying. There are houses built in the river. They are called palafitas. We don't know the name in English.
So palafitas are houses on stilts. So they're wooden houses on raised up above the polluted river. I think it's important to say. So this river is polluted horribly because there's very little sewage system here. So there's just a lot of sewage that goes into this river. And these houses sit on top of this river, on top of stilts. But these houses often don't have any running water, do they?
No, they don't have any running water. And they even don't have restrooms. People do their necessities in the bucket and they throw into the river.
I've seen people bathe in that river.
I think they're very brave people. They have a very strong immune system, because if I go dive in that river, I will die of diarrhea or itching something because it's so polluted.
Yeah.
And we face that gender problem with the women. It's an area with a lot of drug dealing, and they feel that they are more protected if they have a man in the house. Even if that man is not a good man to the women, but they feel more protected.
One thing that really struck me actually with one of our previous projects, I remember when people were talking about what Em Cena means to these children. And we had somebody who was trying to find the word that brought to life just that relationship that you have. And I remember somebody's original thought was Em Cena is like a home. And I remember you pushing against that because you said, because it's not like a home. For you, a home is a nice, comfortable place, but for these children, it's not. We can't be sharing that vision of Em Cena as a home because that's exactly what we're not for them. And I just wonder if you could bring that to life, the challenges that these children face. What does their reality day to day look like?
For the children that we work with at Em Cena, they come, as I told, very vulnerable areas, very underprivileged. In some houses, they don't have running water. They don't even have a restroom. And for some children, they live 10 people in the house in a very small bedroom or kind of bathroom. And when they come to Em Cena, they have that wide space, a very beautiful dancing room with a mirror, with ballet bars. And we also have a soccer field that we share with the other organizations that we can use with the kids. So they get a kind of, I'm free, I'm protected, and I feel respected by the others, and I don't have to be squeezing in my house with other people fighting for some space, and they feel like very welcome. And once there was a child, and that she didn't have a bathroom in her house, a restroom, and she went to Em Cena, and when she was taking too long in the bathroom. We had a mirror. The bathroom is really huge compared to their houses. And when we opened the door, she was sitting on the toilet. Whoa, what are you doing? I don't know how to use it. She didn't know that she had to sit down on the toilet. And later on, we went to a presentation in a theater. And the same kid entered in the restroom, and she entered in the bathroom, and she didn't leave the restroom. So we were waiting for her all the time. What is she doing? What is she doing? When we got there, she just opened all the sinks because she wanted to see the running water. There wasn't running water in her house. She opened one and washed her hands. She opened another one and washed her hands. And there were about 6 when we opened the bathroom. What are you doing? Wasting water. She's like, I want to live here. It's bigger than my house. It's so beautiful, so clean. And within Sena, they have the chance to see all the realities, but also value where they come from. This kid I mentioned, now she's a woman. She has a boy, and her boy is called Ruben because of a teacher that we had called Ruben.
Wow.
And she's pretty well and doing well and working. Her husband's a good man and working too, and now she has a house.
Wow. As we've mentioned, we have worked together in the past, and I wonder if you can bring to life for our listeners just about the experience to date with Thai. Perhaps you could just explain how Thai and just having external viewpoints and experiences and skills have helped you.
We've worked with Thai 3 times. I remember the first one talking to the person that came, and she showed us much more than we realized that we're doing. And when we read this, all the things that she got and the experience she has, she really got involved in the community. She got friendly with the community leader. And at that time, we were doing classes in the community for the women. We were doing like food for birthdays, and we got together with those women. And every class she went there, and she couldn't speak any word in Portuguese, but she walked alone in the community. She met all the people, and we were like, how does she communicate? But she did. And during those classes, the women were talking about women things, like period, like having trouble with the husbands and the kids, and doing the stuff, the food. That was the purpose of the project, make them talk about their things while doing something that they could use in their house. And she showed us in the scrapbook that she ate feijoada, she ate macaxeira, and she talked to the leaders in the community. And she learned that one thing that was difficult for them was to keep those children going to the same place. And that was her campaign. Make the kids and the mothers and the families understand that it was necessary to spend more than a year at Em Cena, more than a year at school. That education is slow and process. And she put in her scrapbook what she saw in 1 month, that a kid, she really changed her behavior. It was a kid that was very naughty and throwing things, being aggressive. And with our work, in her eyes, that kid became something really different. Water to the wine in just 1 month. In 1 month, that is possible. Imagine a year, 2 years, 3 years of education. And the second one, another one that really got involved was Emma. It was called Se Liga Meu Povo.
Se Liga Povo, which is wake up people.
That we had to give a voice for the teenagers, how to make them speak to the world, their worries, what they needed through music. And Emma brought that digital thing with her, the Facebook and our little website, everything that we didn't have at that time, and we didn't know how to use it. And we made a CD with music made by the students, the teenagers, with all the worries that they had at the moment. And it was very surprising for us that most of the songs, the solution was in Cena. There was one called Brigadeirão. Brigadeiro is a food
it's a very sweet chocolate, or not chocolate, but anyway, it's very sweet dessert.
Yeah, and the song was, if you don't have anything to do in your house, don't get involved to the drug dealing. Come to Em Cena and dance. Let's do Brigadeirão together. Let's do Brigadeirão together. And this was because we had a lesson that they had to make Brigadeiro in their houses. We provide them condensed milk and chocolate, and they have to make their brigadeiros in their house. And they had to choose the size of brigadeiro, or if they wanted to do small brigadeiros and share with their family, and bring back to Em Cena and give one of the brigadeiros to a friend and tell them how they made that brigadeiro in their houses. And they joined together. If you don't have anything to do in your house, don't go to the street, don't get involved in bad things. Come to Em Cena and let's make brigadeirão. It was all connected. The project with Thai, that was the release of that CD in a community auditorium, and we put bike announcement, and there was the website, the Facebook, and we got a photographer at that time and made beautiful photos
And the objective for that was to engage more with the community, wasn't it? To get more noise around Em Cena and the importance of getting involved.
The second part of the project, after all these things, and after Emma and Kate went, was to use that material in the schools in the area. So we used the CD and we prepared some choreographers and they were dancing and presented their song, and after debate with the kids at schools. So we visited around 5 schools from the area, 3 public schools and 2 private schools, and they were there talking about the challenge that a teenager face.
And really important, and I think that's a really good segue into what we're going to be doing with you and with Leo Burnett shortly in May, because the pandemic's been hard, hasn't it? Obviously, with everything being open, it was already hard because if we just stop and think about the challenges of getting involved, we see why it's so important. But obviously, there's loads of barriers to entry. We've got however many people living in a house. Who's actually looking after that child? Who's going to be taking that child to Em Cena? Does the community understand why it's so important for these children to be at Em Cena? There's so many different challenges, aren't there, to engage with the super important work that you do that obviously changes the lives of these children. And then a pandemic happens where obviously just those ties that were there to the community just got broken down. And then it's like, oh my God. And obviously, I think we all know around the world, children were horribly impacted by the pandemic. Obviously, not being able to go to school is part of it, but it's increased tremendously in these parts of the world where you think what's happening on the streets with these kids, what's happening in the homes with these kids. Talk to us about what you hope to achieve with this project with Leo Burnett. We'll have a team of 6 people working with Em Cena it's now virtual, so people don't physically go, but it's still super impactful because they will be working with you to really unearth the challenge that obviously you are all facing and then help find a solution with their genius, communication and strategic and just skills to hopefully help you. So maybe you could just bring to life for our listeners how you hope we can help you this time around.
We had a big fire in 2014. And on 2020, just before the pandemic, we started in Paris with our new dance room that was completely burned in the past. And we started with kids, younger kids, 4 to 10. Before we used to work with teenagers. And when we decided to work with the little kids, the younger kids, then we started the pandemic. And all this online thing and everything that we had to stay at home and kind of communication that we had to the families, and WhatsApp was the most. And we want that we are stronger from our own knowledge, working with that age. That's not a teenager, that's their childhood, that very young people still with the arts, and being able to communicate better the benefits of the art at that age. That's one of our challenge now. Although we have experience, although we have been studying, and our teachers, our team is the best. I love my team. We still have difficulty to communicate to other people how important it is to work with art. And sometimes we see in all the families that people want that the kids are kids and play, but at the same time they demand that the kids have an adult being able to deal with all this studying, all the tests. And in the community, being able to go to the organization alone by themselves and being able to do errands in their community. I think those kids are brilliant because they keep their smiley and shining face that a kid has, no matter if the kid is going through difficulties or no, especially at that age, because they don't realize how difficult their life is, and also doing adult things and dealing with those adult things, especially in the community. It's so incredible to see a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old person crossing the street with all those cars coming and going, unattended, without an adult close to them, and their family say, but if the kid doesn't go this way, the kid will stay at home, locked in the house, except to go to work. And Em Cena is also does help the mothers and the fathers to go to work. So they have some time. I don't like to use relax, but they feel confident that the kid is going to be well treated and have a lesson, have some food, while they go to work, and they don't need to keep their kids in the house locked.
And so the objective is to help the community and the families understand the importance of Em Cena and the education of art in these children's lives, and to reconnect the community with the important work you do. Is that
not only the community creators itself, but all the society? I think society needs this, working with the arts and children at this age.
Yeah.
How important it is.
Yeah.
And how we communicate to the world that importance. Sometimes we think that's difficult to communicate the importance of this, especially from donors and sponsors. Sometimes, most of them say, but why aren't you working with teenagers? Teenagers need to get a job. They need to get technical education in order to go to work.
Well, actually, the argument is that the first years of life and formation of a child are actually the most important. And if you can help these little people have that base of warmth and humanity and understanding about their potential and bring that to life at that age and have that continue until sort of 8 years old, that's actually the key. Full humans that can contribute to society in the future. That's actually the key age. So yeah, no, that makes sense.
And making them continue growing their mind, that mind that shouldn't have the happiness and the world and the life is beautiful, and then they continue that mind. Of course, they are able to realize that the world is not only flowers, but if they have that in their mind that it can make the world better, we believe that they will become better adults and with better ideas.
Exactly. Now we're coming to the end of the podcast. I'm curious to know, though, what keeps you up at night worrying, but also what gives you hope?
What gives me hope is I'm always an optimist. I say, everybody, I don't have time to be pessimist. I don't have time. I have one life. I have only one life. Other people believe in other lives, but I don't believe in mine, this one that I'm living. And I make this also for me. I want to live in a better world now, not in the future. I want to live now. So I have to do something now. And as I love the art and I love the dancing, I also feel good at Em Cena when I see the people dancing, when I see the people doing art. One of my dreams is to take those kids to travel everywhere, to bring their shows to all the countries. As I can't do that, I'm usually trying to bring people from other countries to work as a volunteer at Em Cena.
Well, your shows are great. I mean, I remember, I've missed them because the pandemic hasn't allowed them. But I guess actually now you can start to plan for shows this year, I would think, right?
We have a bonding room show that we started rehearsing that's called Iracema.
Yeah.
And as we are working with very young children, it's difficult to put on a show, but they are going to be dancing one part of that show. From a dance group called Família Pernambuco.
Okay, great.
Made on September, I think.
Okay, well, you have to divulgar. Well, actually, the timing is good for this because we can also just sort of figure out how to let people know about it. But it is, it's really moving. I remember sitting and just watching these beautiful children. You just know where they're coming from, and they're just dancing like fairies on the stage. Just incredible. It's very emotive.
And also the show that's a very important part for us, not only for Em Cena, but how we show what we do to the society. It is very important for the kids as well. After the shows, the kids come to us and say, wow. And when they see the cars outside, which people are applauding us. You see the change? Like we're doing something, they're applauding us because we are talented. They are not here because they are philanthropy.
I feel that a lot actually with our Thai programs. It's really interesting. We had a project in Malawi not long ago. We had a group of people from around the world helping these Malawian adolescent girls develop entrepreneurial skills so that they could gain independence, so that they could actually leave the house because they were in a situation that was not ideal for them. And one day of these projects, it was important for the team to meet with the girls and have a conversation with them. And that conversation, to truly understand and to have a conversation where everyone's on the same level. I mean, who cares if this is sort of a CEO of a big company, whatever, it's sort of everyone's the same level, truly trying to understand, and the girls giving feedback and information about their reality. Just that increased the number of girls wanting to get involved with this organization because they felt listened to and they felt like people actually care. And people, it wasn't a pity thing. It was sort of asking questions, saying, okay, so what is your opinion about that? And how does that work? And okay, so what do you do in this situation? And them feeling a part of this process. And it's really interesting because a lot of the time we hear as a result of these projects, it's so nice that people actually genuinely care, that people are really interested genuinely in our life. They want to know about us. Really? And it's amazing because it's really powerful. It's really powerful. Well, we have come to the end, but I'm just very curious to know, is there anything that I haven't asked you or anything that you're working on at the moment that you think our listeners would find interesting?
Yes, we are working at the moment. Coming back from the pandemic period, we are trying to make more relations with the community itself and finding talents here. We finished some videos. They were made by a teenager, actually, from the community. We did a vacation course in Conselho de Moradores in the community. We're trying to find teachers to do some little courses in Conselho de Moradores. And we're doing this, not only working with the kids in their classroom, but finding talents in the community and bringing them to work together in Cena or making some work within the community. That's a way that we can do more, make them do something for themselves.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we only say, wow, it's pretty good what we do. And only this sentence in the next week, the next 2 weeks, that the person comes, after that we talked, I started doing this and that, and we think that's very rewarding. And 2 people, part of my team, my Em Cena team, they are in the Conselho de Moradores now. They were elected, and I went to one of the events that we had on Women's Day. I found out that there were 3 ex-students from Em Cena.
Really? Wow.
Yes. It was planting the seed of leadership, of ownership, of their own community. So we value. Every time we go to show, we go somewhere, we do say we are from Wales. Value that place, value that area.
Yeah. And that is so powerful because giving that power, empowering the individuals to feel ownership and to feel like you can be the change. Don't wait for other people. Within yourself, and then being that change maker within Coelho. And to know that you, since that dream of 24 when you set it up, I think, but how old is Em Cena now?
From 1998, so 24. We will turn 24 in November.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, you're doing amazing work. It's very rewarding for you and for us as well, just to sort of see the impact of little projects that we work on, but how that feeds into that bigger vision and the impact on people's lives. So for our listeners, obviously that's a taste of what Em Cena is like, but also there are people who are listening who are going to be getting involved, and I know that they will be listening to this just really excited to get stuck in. So thank you for your time, thank you for your incredible work, thank you for bringing it to life with me today, Betania. I really appreciate it.
Let's work.
Hey everyone, this is Philippa again. I hope you enjoyed listening. Now this is your chance to get involved with TIE. If you work in the commercial world, whatever your profession, your position, or your experience, then TIE could be for you. You may have been in business for decades, but have always felt there's another way. Or you may just have a few years experience, but want to do more. Equally, if you want to create game-changing employees and see your company impact the world, we've got you covered. TIE has never been more necessary than right now, and you can be a part of it. Reach out to me at philippa@theinternationalexchange.co.uk and I can tell you more. Or join the TIE Accelerator info session for more information. apply.tieaccelerator.com. Better leaders, better companies, better world. I'm your host, Philippa White. This podcast has been co-produced by Berna Vieira and me, music by Berna Vieira, and artwork by Kelps Vahais. I hope we'll meet again soon.